Henry Dorley Zoo attracts a lot of attention.
Yes, it does, but it's what's happening underneath those exhibits that we're bringing to light.
Our Bella Caracta shows us a unique conservation project.
This sunflower sea star at the Omaha Zoo lives with predatory fish, but its hungry roommates are the least of its concern.
Sea star wasting disease, that came through quite a few years ago now, and that pretty much decimated the population. Certain other species of stars have been able to recoup their numbers, but the sunflower stars did not ever really come back.
Ben Morrow from the Omaha Zoo is spearheading a conservation project to help save the species alongside a lab at the University of Washington.
They're endangered on the West Coast right now, and so our project here is actually to utilize aquaculture to try and raise them in significant amount of numbers, and then we'll reintroduce those to the West Coast as the final part of the project and try and reestablish that population in the wild.
He's recently hit a milestone. By fertilizing and raising the sea stars in a controlled environment, he's seen them hit metamorphosis, the next stage of development.
Yeah, I'm optimistic because we're having some success. We're the second institution really to be working on these guys with harbor labs, but we're getting settlement numbers, and now we just got to increase them. Once that happens, we're ready to really make an impact on the ocean.
Morrow says his project will take 3 years, and more labs across the country are interested in following the Omaha Zoo's lead. On your side in Omaha, Bella Caracta, 6 News.
Sunflower sea stars are listed as endangered. The hope is to give them federal protection.